back. All right, so our next question is from Queen of Hell,
Yes,
or
we
at
said Queen of
SPN _freak fan _fan.
So Satan's wife is asking us a question.
There we go. And that is, how did the naming process go? So, Larry, how did you name your kids?
Well, I have a daughter and a son. Our daughter is named Katya, and our son is Lev. Now, Katya is an interesting one. I've heard the name Katya before. And the reason being, I know a lot of people out there say, well, Katya, that's a Russian name, and you're black. Yeah.
Well, you've heard of White Russian. This is Black Russian.
But my wife is from Siberia. So my wife was thinking of names, and they were all American names. And I thought to myself, well, hell, she's going to have an American last name, which is my name. I would like for our children to have Russian names. So she was like, oh, okay. So she was trying to think of names. I said, well, I have a name in mind that I really like. And it was Katya. I've seen it in the movie, which was a nice movie, and the little girl was named, I cannot pronounce the whole name, but it was like Katerina, but I liked Katya. So we named our daughter Katya. True story, the next movie that I see, the next 5 movies that I see with the characters named Katya, they were all like prostitutes.
That's not a
I'm like, damn it! Like, what the hell just happened? And my wife is like, no, Katya is not, doesn't mean whore. Doesn't mean whore in American. She's like, those movies just, there's just a common name.
It's just a strong name. Yeah. It's just, you know.
It's just a common name they use Katya in and everything. And I thought to myself, oh, okay, it's my angel. But our son is Lev. And the crazy thing is that people always trip out that I'm the one who thought of the Russian names. And my wife, she always says, well, Larry thought of the names. And so our son was Lev. Now, back in the day, I read the book War and Peace. So, great book, long read. But the author's name is Lev Tolstoy. And I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong. But I liked the name so much. And I thought it was such a strong name and beautiful name. And I said, let's name our son Lev. And she actually teared up. And it's like, that is a good name. That is a good name. And so, that's how I have it. Lev and Katya.
Oh, very cool. Mine, 2 different people, so 2 different experiences. My son, we kind of went off of, we came up with our own tradition. What would have been a tradition, but it just ended up being that way. My father's father, so my grandfather was his first name was Julian, his middle name was Thomas, and my dad's name is Thomas. So they kind of like took the middle name of my grandfather. So we kind of did that. We took my name Travis, made that the middle name of my son, and then gave him his first name of Jacob, because my wife at the time really wanted to, I think, have a Bible name for some reason. But so he has the same initials as his great-grandfather has. With Tabby, we had several names, and the initial one was Tamsin. I think it's Tansen. And it was a name that...
Child's name?
Well, thankfully we didn't name it that. We named her, that was one, and then Kim was walking down the hall, and she said, what do you think of the name Tabitha? I said, well, I like that name, because we didn't quite know. So it was either Tansen or Tabitha. I can't remember how it got Tansen. It was just a name Kim had heard, and she really liked it. Tansen. T-A-N-S-E-N. And there was a Tamsen, T-A-M-S-E-N, which I think there are, I've seen a few, but Tansen was a different.
Wasn't it a group called the Hansons?
Hanson.
So you
not
can't
Tansen, you can't do the same.
So you took the H out.
The H out and put a T in it. No. But yeah. When Tabby was born, Kim...
Black people don't know want to do that.
No, we won't go into people's naming process. But she asked me to name our daughter, and I, for whatever it is, Tabitha is the one that we went with, and it really fits her perfectly. The important point of all of it really is that it's up to you guys. You know what, because everybody can come up with some like crazy, wacky names, as we know from some very famous people naming their children. What we would consider odd, they love. So it's really kind of different. But that's how we got our kids' names.
Yes.
So thanks.
That was a good question, because I have friends who, their children and their names, and when they tell me their names, I thought to myself, boy, that kid's gonna get pushed around in school.
I know.
I'm like, why would you name him? And plus, my thing and my thought process when I talked to Nadia, the name of my child was that I want to be able to spell it, and I want them to be able to spell it quick.
Yeah, I know. That is definitely a good point. You want them to be able to spell it and say it, and it'd be easy to read, because when you get some of those names in the unique spellings, like, that's not really, I see where you're going, but I think you're messing with the laws of English grammar, because it was just weird.
But whatever you name your child, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Just might be hard for some other people to pronounce.
Always be prepared to know that if you name your child something kind of cool or out there that you really like, there will be resistance along the way.
Yes.
But it'll be okay. All right, so here is our next question, and looks like it's from Megan, and it's that other Megan. It says, "What is our favorite part of being a dad?" What's your favorite part about being a dad?
There's so many, Megan. You know what? I guess the favorite part of being a dad, crazy as it may sound, and manly as it may not sound.
Torturing his children.
Yes. Besides torturing them, is actually going to sleep and waking up knowing that I am a dad, a father. I never probably really thought about being a dad or a father growing up, and as a young adult. Met a young lady who I fell in love with, and we had children, and I wanted to have children, and I'm about to start to cry. No. So that's one of the greatest things.
Just knowing that you're
just
dad.
knowing. And every time I hear my kids say, "Dad, Dad," even if they're being snotty or they're happy, or even if they're sad, when they call out to me, "Dad," it always gets me. You know?
Yeah. I would have to agree. I think for me, in many cases, it's the welcome that you get often when you pick your kids up from school. I get a big hug or whatever. I think just having someone just actually legitimately calling you dad, is a pretty cool thing. You get to say that I'm a dad.
Yes.
And I think it is. I don't know if that, to me, that sounds very manly, because that's the progression of being a man is to be a dad. Not for everybody, but
Yes, true.
I think just the fact that you are one, and you get to say that you are one, is probably my favorite part. Aside from like early morning cuddles are good, because I'm too tired to get up out of bed. But yeah, so I would agree. I'd agree. Just being a dad.